Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Recha Kodesh. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Genesis, the 24th chapter. And as we went through the 23rd chapter, Abraham, as Sarah died, Abraham purchased a field in Machpelah and a burying place for Sarah, and would ultimately be used for himself as well. And Abraham was old and well stricken in age, and the Lord Yahweh had blessed Abraham in all things. And Abraham said unto his eldest servant in his house, that ruled over all he had, Put, I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh. And I believe this was Eleazar, based on what the one that Abraham thought would be his heir. And now it doesn't specify that, right? But just that's just based on what we read before in, some chapters ago. Now, putting the hand under the thigh was a practice of like taking an oath, right? A very solemn and serious oath. Okay, like today they'll say like like how you have a president that's swearing on the Bible, or whatever the case is there. And I will make thee swear by the Lord Yahweh, the God of heaven and the God of the earth, that thou shalt not take a wife unto my son of the daughters of the Canaanites, among whom I dwell. So Abraham made his servant swear that he do not, basically under any circumstances, may have Isaac marry a Canaanite woman. But thou shalt go unto my country and to my kindred, and take a wife unto my son Isaac. Once again, remember, on the journey when the Lord had Abraham and his family leave Ur of the Chaldees, they settled in Haran, which is Syria, and then Abraham, the Lord had him separate even more to come to the land of Canaan. So he still had relatives over there, and that's where he's basically sending his servant here. Verse 5, and the servant said unto him, Peradventure, the woman will not be willing to follow me unto this land. Must I needs bring thy son again onto the land from whence thou camest? So what happens if I go there and then the woman doesn't want to come with me back into this land? Should I then take your son back over to them, so he stays there and marries them there? And Abraham said unto him, Beware thou that thou bring not my son thither again. So no, do not, no matter what, do not take Isaac over there. The Lord God of heaven, which took me from my father's house, and from the land of my kindred, and which spake unto me, and that sware unto me, saying, Unto thy seed will I give this land. He shall send his angel before thee, and thou shalt take a wife unto my son from thence. So don't stress it. The guy that I serve, he'll send an angel and he'll go with you. He'll prepare things and make sure everything goes according to plan. And that's what the angels do, right? They work on the minds of people. They set up events. Here's an example. As we're going to read, the servant eventually meets Rebecca. But the timing of everything, right, is all set up by the Lord. The Lord can have the angels work on the minds of an individual to say, you know what, I think now is a good time to go and do this. Or, here it is. The Lord might have, let's say, Rebecca delayed, so that by the time Eliezer or the servant got there, that's when he would meet her, right? So maybe it's usually around this time she goes to fetch the water at the well, which like I said, we'll get to it. But then the Lord has it to where an angel puts it into the thought of her mom to say, wait, before you go, come and help me with this. Then she goes and helps her with it. That delays her a bit. And then she eventually goes and then she meets him. So these kinds of things that, happen that would seem like coincidence are orchestrated by the angels of the Lord to make sure certain people meet, to make sure certain events happen a certain kind of way. Verse 8, and if the woman will not be willing to follow thee, then thou shalt be clear from this my oath. Only bring not my son thither again. So if you go and none of them want to come with you, they don't want to give you their daughter to marry my son, or she doesn't want to come into the land, that's okay. Then you're good. You're not under the oath anymore. But do not take my son over there. And the servant put his hand under the thigh of Abraham his master, and sware to him concerning that matter. And the servant took 10 camels of the camels of his master, and departed. For all the goods of his master were in his hand. And he arose and went to Mesopotamia, unto the city of Nahor. Now let's take a look at that. So Genesis 24, city of Nahor, map. Okay, yeah, so at least we got some good maps here. So zoom in on here. Usually when people think of Mesopotamia, they think of just the core of it here. But the city of Nahor we have over here, which is right around where Aram is. So that's the journey that he took, roughly, to get there. All right. And he made his camels, so obviously, right, the servant is not just by himself. It's not one old man with 10 camels, right? He has those that were with him as well. And they, as it says, they took goods, right? Because if you're going for a matter like this, you're not going empty-handed. Verse 11, and he made his camels kneel down without the city by a well of water, so outside the city by a well of water at the time of the evening, even the time that women go out to draw water. And he said, O Lord, God of my master Abraham, I pray thee, send me good speed this day. Good speed being grant me success, and shew kindness unto my master Abraham. Behold, I stand here by the well of water, and the daughters of the men of the city come out to draw water. And let it come to pass that the damsel, whom I shall say, let down thy pitcher, I pray thee. And a pitcher was like is what they use to fetch the water. So it's basically like some form of an ancient world bucket. And so he says, the woman who I ask to give me some water of her pitcher, right? I pray thee that I may drink. And she shall say, drink, and I will give thy camels drink also. Let the same be she that thou hast appointed for thy servant Isaac, and thereby shall I know that thou hast shewed kindness unto my master. So his prayer was, if the woman that I see that I asked to let me give me some water of her pitcher, if she is, she does give me water and says she's gonna fetch some more to feed to water my camels, then I'll know, that's a sign that I'll know that, okay, that's the one, that's the woman that I gotta get back for Isaac. And also it'll confirm that, truly the Lord has showed kindness to Abraham. And it came to pass before he had done speaking, so as he was praying, that behold, Rebekah came out, who was born to Bethuel, the son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother, with her pitcher upon her shoulder. And the damsel was very fair to look upon, meaning she was very beautiful, a virgin. Now, when you go into this word virgin here, in the Hebrew is Bathwala, which is an actual virgin. As it says, neither had any man known her. Known is like a idiom for like to, have sex with. So she was untouched. And she went down to the well and filled her pitcher and came up. And the servant ran to meet her and said, let me, I pray thee, drink a little water of thy pitcher. So remember, he was basically praying for this very scenario. He sees her, he's like, oh shoot. And so he runs, he asks her, please, can I have some water from your pitcher? And she said, drink, my lord. And she hasted and let down the pitcher upon her hand and gave him drink. Because the way they carried it was usually on their shoulder, or sometimes on their head, but usually like on their shoulder. And let me just type this in here. Woman carrying pitcher. There you go. So there you go. That's one. That's an example right there. That's an example right there. Or sometimes on their shoulder. And that would be once they fetch the water, right? They would carry it that way. And so that's what a picture looks like. And so she quickly brought it down so that she can give him water to drink. And when she had done giving him drink, she said, I will draw water for thy camels also until they have done drinking. And she hasted and emptied her pitcher into the trough, and the trough is a like a contraption that or I don't even know if contraption is the best word, but it's like a feeding bowl, except it's not a bowl that the animals can drink from. Matter of fact, let me show a visual here. Let's see, animal feeding trough. There you go. So it's like this long, yeah, kind of thing right there, container. And then you have one for food, and then you have one for water. So multiple animals could drink or eat at the same time. So she, as it says here, she emptied her pitcher into it to fill it up with water, and ran again onto the well to draw water, and drew for all his camels. And the man, wondering at her, held his peace, to wit whether the Lord had made his journey prosperous or not. So he was quietly watching her, and he's thinking in his head, damn, is this really, is this because he had just prayed concerning this, right? So he's thinking, damn, is she the one? Is the Lord, did the Lord just answer this prayer? And it came to pass, as the camels had done drinking, that the man took a golden earring of half a shekel weight, and 2 bracelets for her hands of 10 shekels weight of gold, and said, Whose daughter art thou? Tell me, I pray thee, is there room in thy father's house for us to lodge in? So he inquires, basically, who are you? And do you by chance happen to have any, extra space where I can stay, or where we can stay? Because he had servants with him. And she said unto him, I am the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Milcah, which she bare to Nahor. She said moreover unto him, We have both straw and provender enough, and room to lodge in. So we have food for your animals, and we have space for you. And the man bowed down his head and worshiped the Lord Yahweh. So he thanked the Lord, for having answered his prayer. And he said, Blessed be the Lord God Yahweh of my master Abraham, who hath not left destitute my master of his mercy and his truth. So the Lord didn't forsake Abraham, and rather, made good on his kindness and mercy to him. I being in the way, the Lord led me to the house of my master's brethren. So he came, and while in the way, meaning like a way is like a path, right? So as he was there without the city, the Lord has guided him now to where, without difficulty, he's now straight at the place he should be. And the damsel ran and told them of her mother's house these things. So she basically told her family, like, hey, this is what happened. I met this guy, and so on and so forth. And Rebekah had a brother, and his name was Laban. And Laban ran out onto the well. Yes, the same Laban that Jacob ends up fleeing to. And it came to pass, when he saw the earring and bracelets upon his sister's hands, and when he heard the words of Rebekah his sister, saying, Thus spake the man unto me, that he came unto the man, and behold, he stood by the camels at the well. So once he heard this, he came, because she didn't bring him right away, right? She came and told them. So they came there, and they see where the man is. And so Laban, right, and he said, Come in, thou blessed of the Lord Yahweh. Wherefore standest thou without? Oh, no, 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 come, let's go. For I have prepared the house and room for the camels. And the man came into the house, and he ungirded his camels, and gave straw and provender for the camels. Because remember, the camels carried, things, right? You strap the bags and the luggage and all that to them. It's like today when you have a car and you put things in the car and the trunk and all of that. And gave straw and provender for the camels, and water to wash his feet and the men's feet that were with him. And there was set meat before him to eat. But he said, I will not eat. And meat here is just a way of saying food. Okay. like a meal. Today you say a meal. I will not eat until I have told mine errand. And he said, speak on. So, and that was kind of wise, right? Because, before the job is done, right? The servant, basically, that was his mindset. I can't eat before the job is done. I have to finish this job, let it be known why I'm here, and so on. And he said, I am Abraham's servant, and the Lord hath blessed my master greatly, and he is become great, and he hath given him flocks and herds and silver and gold and men servants and maidservants and camels and asses. Oh, he's great. And Sarah, my master's wife, bare a son to my master when she was old, and unto him hath he given all that he hath. So the inheritance is going to that son, being Isaac. And my master made me swear, saying, Thou shalt not take a wife to my son of the daughters of the Canaanites, in whose land I dwell. But thou shalt go unto my father's house and to my kindred, and take a wife unto my son. And I said unto my master, Peradventure the woman will not follow me. And he said unto me, The Lord Yahweh, before whom I walk, i.e., the God who I have lived before, right, in whose presence I have lived, will send his angel with thee, and prosper thy way. And thou shalt take a wife for my son of my kindred, and of my father's house. Then shalt thou be clear from this my oath, when thou comest to my kindred, and if they give not thee one, thou shalt be clear from my oath. So either A, you go and you get that wife for my son, and then you've completed that oath, you're clear from it. Or if you go and they deny you, then it's not in your hands anymore, so you're clear from that oath. And I came this day unto the well, and said, O Yahweh, God of my master Abraham, if now thou do prosper my way which I go, behold, I stand by the well of water, and it shall come to pass that when a virgin cometh to draw forth water, now the word virgin here is alma, or ayalama. Let's pull it up here. Yeah, ayalama. And so when we read before, the virgin was referring to Rebecca because she was an actual virgin. Here, when the servant is telling the story, he's saying here that he basically asked the Lord, right? He said, Lord, if indeed you have made my ways to prosper, and you're going to bless my master Abraham, then I'm standing at the well, and when any young woman, right, comes forth to draw water, and I ask her, right, and I say to her, give me, I pray thee, a little water of thy pitcher to drink, and she say to me, both drink thou, and I will also draw for thy camels, let the same be the woman whom the Lord hath appointed out for my master's son. See, because you had, once again, different, that was a time when women would come and draw water. So that's why he was giving that story there. And before I had done speaking in my heart, behold, Rebekah came forth with her pitcher on her shoulder, and she went down onto the well. So, back then, like the well that was dug was on a, based on what we're reading here, was on a lower level. You had to descend into it. Not going into the actual well itself, but probably going down some stairs or a slopey-ish area before you get to the actual mouth of the well to draw the water. And she went down onto the well and drew water, and I said unto her, Let me drink, I pray thee. And she made haste, and let down her pitcher from her shoulder, and said, Drink, and I will give thy camels drink also. So I drank, and she made the camels drink also. And I asked her and said, Whose daughter art thou? And she said, The daughter of Bethuel, Nahor's son, whom Milcah bare unto him. And I put the earring upon her face, and the bracelets upon her hands. And I bowed down my head, and worshipped the Lord Yahweh, and blessed the Lord God of my master Abraham, who had led me in the right way, to take my master's brother's daughter unto his son. And now if ye will deal kindly and truly with my master, tell me, and if not, tell me, that I may turn to the right hand or to the left. So now I've told you my mission, why I'm here, and what has happened, and how I got here. So basically, what's your answer? If you're gonna give me a daughter to take to, you know, to Isaac, right, my master's son, let me know. And if not, let me know now, so I know what to do. I know, maybe I gotta go, either go back to Abraham or think of something. And Laban and Bethuel answered and said, the thing proceedeth from the Lord Yahweh. We cannot speak unto thee bad or good, which is to say, this is the Lord's doing. There's really nothing we can do about it. We can't hinder it. Behold, Rebekah is before thee. Take her and go, and let her be thy master's son's wife, as the Lord Yahweh hath spoken. And that's how it was done in the ancient world, right? Like what you're seeing here, where Abraham sent his servant to basically get a wife for his son. And it came to pass that when Abraham's servant heard their words, he worshipped the Lord Yahweh, bowing himself to the earth. And the servant brought forth jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment, and gave them to Rebekah. He gave also to her brother and to her mother precious things. And they did eat and drink, he and the men that were with him, and tarried all night. And they rose up in the morning, and he said, send me away unto my master. So he finally ate. They were good. They probably talked and all that, and they slept. And then the next morning he woke up and he's like, all right, it's time to go. Basically, let me be on my way. And her brother and her mother said, oh, let the damsel abide with us a few days, at the least 10. After that she shall go. So they basically wanted, a bit more time with Rebekah, as they asked for at least 10 days. And then after that she can go. And he said unto them, hinder me not, seeing the Lord Yahweh hath prospered my way. Send me away that I may go to my master. So the servant here wasn't having that. He's like, look, what it took for me to get here, with how the Lord blessed me, I don't want to take any chances. So you know what? The sooner the better. Why don't you just let me go and take her with me? And they said, we will call the damsel and inquire at her mouth. So, okay, why don't we just ask Rebekah herself and see what she wants to do? And they called Rebekah and said unto her, wilt thou go with this man? And she said, I will go. And they sent away Rebekah their sister, and her nurse, and Abraham's servant, and his men. And their sister here, now you say, well, this is her mom and her brother, right? But when it says their sister, it's like saying their you know kinswoman, right? Which in this case would have been the daughter of her mother, but the sister of her brother. And her nurse, right? Which was because they sent her obviously not by herself. She had like servants and maids and nurse, which is like her close helper. And Abraham's servant and his men. And when you actually go into the word nurse, because usually you would have a woman who, when say the mother gave birth and became a mother, you would have a woman that would support her and help her, and that woman would also take care of the child as well. So as it says, nurse, suck, to give suck, nursing woman. Okay, and now this could have been either A, just a helper, or B, the woman that actually helped raise Rebekah, right? But in any case, they agree and send her away. And they blessed Rebekah and said unto her, thou art our sister, be thou the mother of thousands of millions, and let thy seed possess the gate of those which hate them, which is, to wish her well, right, and success, and that of her seed should have success and dominion over their enemies, right, over those that hate them. And Rebekah arose, and her damsels, and they rode upon the camels, and followed the man. And the servant took Rebekah and went his way. And Isaac came from the way of the well Lahairoi, for he dwelt in the south country. And remember that uh I believe that's what Hagar called it after the Lord had came to her when she first ran away, because Sarah was treating her harshly. And Isaac went out um to meditate in the field at the eventide, and he lifted up his eyes and saw, and behold, the camels were coming. And once again, if we go to the map here, you'll see, right, the green is now the path back all the way down past Beersheba down to Beer Lahairoi. Lahairoi. So he sees the camels, he sees them coming back, and Rebekah lifted up her eyes, and when she saw Isaac, she lighted off the camel. I mean, she got off. For she had said unto the servant, What man is this that walketh in the field to meet us? And the servant had said, It is my master. Therefore she took a veil and covered herself. And that's why when she saw Isaac, she jumped off, because she knew that that was him. And the servant told Isaac all things that he had done. And Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent, and took Rebekah, and she became his wife. And he loved her, and Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. And that brings us to the end of the book of Genesis, the 24th chapter. And Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Recha Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.